Like a Bad Neighbor reporting live from Madison Square Garden. 113-102. Knicks take game one. I don't know if you guys can hear me right now, but we're walking out onto the plaza right now. We're about to get stupid lit.
From the Mecca.
From the Mecca. We're taking this shit in four, baby. Tune into the pod. Dropping another episode, probably episode 12 tomorrow.
Go Knicks!
Let's go Knicks.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Like a Bad Neighbor podcast, episode 12. My name is Mike. This is my co-host, Justin. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, a little tired. Voice is a little shot after the events of last night, but
yeah.
Holy cow, we got to see a heck of a game.
Yeah, this was kind of like a last-minute thing. We got invited to the game. Shout out to our boss for making it happen. Just decided to casually drop 15 to 20 grand on a Lexus suite. Guy's well connected, and he treated his employees, his hardworking employees. Not everybody got picked to go to the game. We were fortunate enough to go. It was a literal dream come true. Excellent seats. You're center court, right in between the 200 and the 400 section. So it wasn't like directly on the bowl level. It was just like in between those two levels. It was perfect. Like the seats were perfect. You had the clutchest thing about the whole thing was the bathroom right inside the suite. Because usually with these suites, you have to like walk down a hall and wait online sometimes. Bathroom right in the suite, had a whole spread, sushi, hot dogs, hamburgers, chicken sandwiches, free drinks. What a night, man. So.
Oh, it was incredible. And I was thinking about it. They have other luxury suites higher up, like more elevated, but you still felt like you were a part of the action. I feel like, when you're in a situation where you're all the way up top like that, it just creates it's a different atmosphere. You definitely feel a little bit more, cordoned off and isolated, I feel like. But for us, we were literally right there, best seat in the house, got, full view of everything, could clearly see the celebrities on Celebrity Row.
Mm-hmm.
And we got some great video from it.
Yes.
Which, we're going to share with you, in bits and pieces. But just, and look, the Garden playoff atmosphere rocking the way that it was after the game, after the victory, you had that 7-pen.
Yeah,
like,
everybody just gathered
on
on the plaza, just going crazy, just mobs everywhere. I mean, it's everything that everybody talks about. The people don't sugarcoat this. These are New Yorkers. These are frustrated New Yorkers. They've never seen a championship. They want to see our team thrive, and this is the best year to do it. I feel like our bench is just so deep at this time. It's no better time than now. And like you said, the atmosphere in the building was second to none. It's just something that I don't know. As soon as you step foot in that arena, man, the blood just gets pumping, and it's all adrenaline from there on out. So
absolutely, and it really is an experience that I think everyone, especially if you're a diehard Knick fan, you gotta try and get to a playoff game.
Yeah,
it's just and not for nothing. Like this series, we looked at ticket prices, what it would be, even on like the resale market. And listen, it's gonna set you back a little bit. I think we were looking at it was somewhere around $350 a ticket to get into the building,
just to get in. Yeah,
just to get in. But listen, you could be a part of it, and how many opportunities are you going to have to see a Knicks playoff game? I mean, think about just in the last, 20, 30 years, hasn't been a lot. So
right.
you get a chance to go in there and just ride that energy and celebrate, hopefully a win.
Yeah. This is a literal dream come true of mine. Like, I never thought I'd be able to go like to a playoff game, whether it's baseball or basketball, but like it's finally I get to cross it off my bucket list. Yeah, it was so cool, man. Like, I'll think about this night for the rest of my life. You know, it was that
Absolutely.
special. And
No, it was.
shout out to the people that made it happen, man. You know, they're awesome.
Hmm.
Just hashtag blessed. You know, why don't we dissect the game a little bit?
There was a game.
Yeah, there was a game actually.
Oh.
So the Hawks, I mean, they are a completely new look team ever since Trae Young got traded, right? You have the emergence of Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who's probably going to win the Comeback Player of the Year. You have the emergence of Jalen Johnson. Onyeka Okongwu is really, really coming to his own, holding in that backcourt, holding in the front court, I should say. And then CJ McCollum, he got traded to them this year, I feel like. He is just, I think Eugene said it best when we were sitting in the suite. He was like, he's just a crafty vet, just knows how to get a bucket. He was keeping him in that game for most of the 3 quarters. You know, every time we answered with a 3 and we pushed the lead up a little bit, like by 7 or 10, he would just answer back with a 3 himself. You know, so he's
and you wouldn't think a guy like that could be the one, you know, your biggest star. And listen, I still don't think the Hawks are going anywhere. Obviously, we think this ends with the Knicks, but they are a better team than I would have given them credit for, at least seeing them live and seeing how they played. You're right. I mean, the Knicks were on last night. They shot incredibly well from the field. They honestly, this could have been a game if Atlanta just limited the turnovers and the points the Knicks scored off of them. I feel like that was a huge part of this game. I mean, think about it. How many breakaways did the Knicks have? Like stealing the ball and getting pushing it ahead and getting. I was just
looking at the team stats. They had points off the fast break were 22 to their 13. That was a huge advantage right there. They just came out running, bro. Like anytime we got a board, like OG was on the break, Josh was on the break, Mikhail was on the break. They came out running, and you know I was looking at some of the other stats. I mean, it was pretty even on the boards, you know, all the way around. The Hawks just couldn't hit from 3. I mean, they were 14 of 37, 37.8%, which isn't terrible, but we just outclassed them. We were 48% from 3-point line, 12 of 25, 47.5% from the field. Love to see it. And we hit a lot of free throws. And Cat kind of, that's what helped him get his game going, because it was a slow start for him, which I was kind of anticipating, because it's been like that pretty much the whole season. But he was starting to drive to the basket, and he was finally drawing those fouls, and I feel like him going 10 for 10 from the line definitely helped propel his game later on, you know. So.
I think as he gets, I don't know if they really have a true guy that matches up well with Cat that can actually guard him.
Yeah, I mean, you have a Okongwu. He's similar in size, maybe an inch or two shorter than him, but he's lanky. He doesn't have the size that Cat is, so you just powerhouse him.
Yeah, they're gonna have to double team him to keep him out of the paint, which honestly, the one thing that I was very impressed with Cat was, especially early in the game when he was getting double teamed, he was passing out of there. Yes. He made a lot, like the thing that helped the Knicks build, you know, a fairly big lead heading into like the half and then, you know, to the middle of the fourth quarter when they got their biggest lead of the game. They were making extra passes. They were, you know, like a couple of times we were looking at each other and we were like, take that shot, because they were open.
The best play. So Worldwide Wob, he's a great follow for Knicks fans. Rob Perez, he has his own like XM radio show on Twitter. He said it best. He posted my favorite play of the entire night, where Jalen had the ball, he was getting double teamed, and then he did like a little dribble handoff to Cat, or he threw it behind his back. After the pick. It was like a pick and pop. I thought Cat was going to pull it. You probably heard me. I was sitting next to you. I was like, why didn't you shoot that? So somebody closes out on him. I'll show the play on the screen here. somebody closed in on him, and then he threw a pass to a cutting Josh Hart. Then he gets picked up in the paint, and then he swings it to the corner where McHale was. You remember that play? And he hit that three. That is the quintessential like Gen Z or like 2025 basketball where there's excellent ball movement and you execute with a three. That's kind of how he summed it up. That was my favorite play of the night, even though it drove me nuts in the beginning of it. But yeah. It was
But
nice
no,
play.
it was honestly a beautifully executed play. I remember exactly what you're talking about, and it was just beautiful to watch. I mean, Atlanta was not moving the ball around nearly as much as I felt like the Knicks were. I felt like the Knicks definitely played tougher defense. I think at the beginning of the game, it was actually a little shaky. What kept Atlanta in the game was like defensive breakdowns where they were getting underneath the basket with an extra pass, and
there was scoring in the paint. Nobody was picking anybody up.
But they tightened that up. I thought it was interesting. They went to the hack-a-mitch in the third quarter just to take him out of the game, and honestly, like, dude's got to hit his free throws. I mean, I know he went 2 for 4 from the line.
Yeah, I think so. Let's see.
But
was, 1 for 4 actually.
1 for 4, and then he got subbed out of the game. So if that's something that other teams are going to try and do to take away from his impact on the game and send him back to the bench, then he's going to start. He's got to step up and he's got to start hitting free throws. But
it's a tough spot when you're a poor free throw shooter and then you're under the bright lights of the Garden, and then you have the fans who just absolutely love this guy, Mitch. They're just, the crowd's just getting louder and louder and louder as
cheering him on.
I'm like, guys, let him breathe. Like, calm down. This is not the time. Free throw shooters do better when it's quiet. That was my opinion on that. But.
Well, they do. They quieted down as he was shooting, but they wanted to root him on. We were trying to encourage him to hit a free throw, but
yeah,
you're gonna have to shoot 50-60% minimum to keep them from fouling you up and down. The other thing it did though was they started doing that and they got into foul trouble early as a team.
Yeah,
and then at that point, like, I feel like that's when Cat started driving even more, because even a reach-in foul was going to send him to the line.
Yeah.
And you could get even more aggressive. So if you want to take that strategy and hack Mitch 2-3 times in a row down the court, now you're going to be in foul trouble with these other guys. And I mean, we shot, I think, almost 85% from the free throw line. So as a team, so you want to do that and you want to open that up, especially at home. By all means, be my guest. I think that we'll take that any day of the week.
Absolutely. We kind of skipped over it, but I was very surprised how fast Mike Brown got Jalen Brunson involved in the first quarter. He shot like 6 for 6 on his first 6 shots. I was like, okay, maybe he's going for 40 or 50 tonight, because it's looking like it. It didn't end up being that way, but man, he just came firing right out of the gate. That was awesome to see.
So the two things that I loved about Mike Brown's game plan in this game, 2 things, if you noticed. They got McHale involved early. The first 2 possessions in a row, they went right to him in like an ISO situation just to get him going. And they played Jalen Brunson off ball.
Yes.
That was huge. That was huge to me, because if you remember all throughout the playoffs last year, he looked burnt out, especially towards the end, because he's taking the ball up the court every single time
with 2 guys on him.
The other teams are pressing him and just making his life miserable just to get the ball to half court and to start the set. He had to exert a tremendous amount of effort. And now you got 5 different guys taking the ball up the court.
Yeah, you could trust even like a Josh Hart to run a play or two. That's a big difference between Tibbs and Brown. You never saw that last year. Every single drive or series, it was Okay, is Jalen going to make it past the half court line before the 8-second violation? Because they're just draping him. They're all over him. But I'm glad they're implementing some sort of off ball, game.
And not
for
only
him.
that with Brunson, but like the other teams, like he was getting bullied on both sides of the court,
Mhm.
because on defense teams would go right at him. And you want to know what? Like the fact that Mike Brown saw that and made that adjustment. And think about it this way: that offense moves the ball so much more freely when it doesn't have to be in Brunson's hands, which I felt like Thibodeau was very intentional the way he ran that offense, like you were saying, through Brunson.
Mhm.
Now there might be 2 or 3 possessions in a row where Brunson doesn't even touch the ball, but that's okay. They're
Yeah.
still scoring. And if you're a huge Jalen Brunson fan, I guess you could say, "Oh man, why aren't they getting him more involved?" He still scored over 20 points in the first half.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the game within the game right there. I felt like that was huge.
Yeah. There's a couple of Hawks players that I did not anticipate having such a bad game, but like Zachary Ricochet, we were talking about it. Rookie, he was number 1 overall pick. Only 2 minutes, 0 for 3. Didn't see another minute. Very disappointing.
Well, he was very good at bricking shots, as you pointed out.
You were watching him like in the
they
warm-ups
looked young.
too.
They looked young and inexperienced in the playoffs.
Yeah.
You know, like obviously McCollum looked pretty good, and honestly, like I don't know if you're Atlanta. I mean, I think he was. Excuse me. I think he's going to be your best player in the series.
Yeah. From what it looks like, it because of that veteran presence.
But that's the point. Like I think that he's
Hey,
obviously pretty good, but at the same token,
guys like
if they're going to advance, if they're going to be a good team in the future, I don't think McCollum could be your one.
No, no. Jalen Johnson is going to be the number 1. I feel like he's just not there yet. But guys like Dyson Daniels, guys like Ricochet really need to step up if this team wants to go anywhere in the future. So other than that, I mean, Knicks dominated most of the game, but then it got kind of with like 4 or 5 minutes left, they actually expanded the lead to like 19. I think 19 was the biggest lead, and then we couldn't hit a shot in the last 4 minutes, and things got pretty close at the end there.
They went on an 11-0 run.
Yeah, 11-0. Mm-hmm. So just got to finish up stronger next game, but overall, great game coming out of the gates. You don't want to lose game 1 at home to a team like the Hawks. That would have just been devastating.
Well, not only that, but the thing that I appreciated the most about it also is they did not come out flat. They came out ready to go. They had a game plan. They executed it. And to me, how many times did you see throughout the regular season that they came out a little flat? It just they didn't shoot the ball well. They got off to these slow starts. And it seemed to happen like a few times against Detroit and some other the better teams in the league. And that was still a criticism of the Knicks heading into the playoffs. Oh, even though they had a better record against like opponents above 500 throughout the regular season this year as opposed to last year, they still came out a little flat and dug themselves into an early hole. And now all of a sudden they needed to, play hero ball in order to make it a game.
A good example of that was like the first game back after the All-Star break. They couldn't hit a shot. I forgot who they played, but they came out very slow. And it's funny you mentioned that because like me, Gene, and Derek were like waiting at the train, and we were talking about, oh, do you think they're gonna get off to like a fast start? And I was like, well, they haven't played in like 10 or 11 days. They're probably gonna come out flat if I had to guess, but. You can tell Brunson's been in the gym, man. Like he that's where he lives, man. He just I would like to know how many shots he puts up a day. I've always wondered that. But yeah, he came ready. So everybody came ready.
They all did. No, everyone looked good. Everyone looked good. The one guy he listen, this isn't a knock on him, but the one guy I want to see just shake a little more rust off and just get back to his like top peak form is McBride. I think McBride
Okay.
didn't play to the best of his abilities, but that's not a knock on him. He gave the effort. He was good defensively. He was disrupting things, but he even though he made a couple of shots, I still think that he's got a little bit more rust to shake off before we say he's fully back.
You know, speaking about the bench, do you think Brown is going to settle on these 9 guys? You have the main starters, Hart, Anunoby, Cat, Bridges, Brunson, right? But then a lot of times, you know, coaches will shrink their rotation to like 8 or 9 guys. He got 9 guys in the mix. You know, he had Shamet come off the bench for 18 minutes, McBride 21 minutes. Clarkson we didn't talk about him. He had a couple of big buckets. And then you had Mitch. Do you think he's going to keep those 4 guys and just settle on these 4 guys? Or do you think, depending on the series, how it shapes, do you think he throws in a Kolek for like a spot 5 minutes or like an Alvarado or something like that?
So I think that he used the bench well, and I think it's going to depend on the matchup of the team that you're playing. A lot of Atlanta's players are kind of taller, lankier, rangier guys. So I think they're going a little more bulk and guys that can handle it. You know, a team. I think Alvarado is a good enough player to crack the rotation. In certain spots, I think Sohan, even though I think he's going to be very limited overall in the playoffs, I don't think he's going to get a lot of burn at all. But if you go up against a bigger, more, you know, like more powerful team like a Detroit, you might see Sohan get a little bit more playing time, you know. But that all said, I think this is the rotation. I think you saw what Brown is planning on doing in the playoffs, and I think you're right. I think he's going to shorten his bench a little bit. I still think he's going to play 9-10 guys a night, but you know, they might not get the same level of minutes that they were getting in the regular season.
Yep. So it came away, no injuries to report. Love to see it. Everyone's healthy. OG had a little bit of a scare. I guess he rolled his ankle on a play. I read somewhere that he just needed help tying his shoes back on. So, so I guess he got help with that off the bench. But then, yeah, he came back within like 5 minutes, which is good to see.
Hart got a little banged up too at one point.
Dude, every time he falls, he makes the most painful like facial expressions. You always think he's just gonna check himself out of the game and just like go rest for a minute. He just fights through the pain, man. So
and Brunson too. Brunson got tapped in the groin area during the game.
Oh, a few guys did. Mitch, Cat, they all had a couple of nut shots. That was
weird. I mean, Atlanta must be watching Draymond Green in how to handle that. But
yeah, well, I don't have to watch any more of that. They got bounced in the play-in, so sorry, Steve Kerr.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, you have any final thoughts on the game?
No. Like I said, anyone that has the opportunity to catch a Knicks playoff game, like 10 out of 10 experience, it really is truly incredible.
Yep.
And you know, it's what New York is all about.
Yes.
But yeah, in terms of the actual series too, I think this will be a short one. I can't see this getting past 5 games, unless some major adjustment happens in the second game.
I agree. All right. Well, you got game 2 Monday night, so we'll look forward to that. Got baseball going on. We really haven't talked about the Yankees so far. They started really hot right out of the gate, going like 7-1. Lost a bunch of games. Now they're 12-9 from what I see. Not getting a lot of production out of the bottom half of the lineup. Ryan McMahon is just, I mean, he did have a game-winning hit the other night, which was nice. He needed that in the worst way, but, you know, is that going to propel him to, you know, improve his game, you know, and be more consistent at the plate? We shall see. Right now, the Yanks are a half game back of Tampa. So the East is pretty tightly contested with Tampa and New York and Baltimore. It's still very early in the season. I kind of wanted to talk about the pitching rotation. So your boy Cam Schlittler, looking like a budding superstar. He was actually at the Knicks game last night. It was cool seeing front row, celebrity row. He's really coming into his own. Will Warren has impressed me. He's 2-0. He had a big win yesterday. He had 11 strikeouts, tied his career high. Weathers, he's a question mark. I don't know if he's gonna last in the rotation the entire year, especially when Rodon comes back and Cole comes back. Be interesting to see what they do with him. Heel has been shaky. So, but yeah.
I think that right now the pitching. I mean, you look at the starters. I'm looking at their stats right now, right? So Schlittler right now is pitching like an ace, sub 2 ERA. Pitching extremely well. Good. Like I said, good numbers, over 36 strikeouts, 0.76 WHIP, so a sub 1 WHIP.
Nice.
And opponents are only hitting $1.78 against them. You look at Will Warren, like you said, 2.5 ERA, 2.49. Got 31 strikeouts, higher WHIP, and opponents' batting average is like 224. Then you look at Ryan Weathers, and here you go. So Ryan Weathers, 4.29 ERA. He's got a 1.38 WHIP, so he's letting a lot of guys get on base.
Yeah,
is what it boils down to. And they're hitting 268, which would put you like, just if you threw 162 games, that means that a team's got a top 5 batting average against you.
Yes,
so not good, not good at all. Then you look at Fried. I'm not going to do this for everybody, but then you look at Fried, a guy that, and for all intents and purposes is supposed to be an ace or, a top end pitcher. So he's got a sub 3 ERA, 2.97.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a 0.81 WHIP, and opponents are hitting up, 165 against him. So you can't ask for much more from the starting pitching.
Mm-hmm.
To be perfectly honest, like you got 3 guys there that are pitching at, honestly, an all-star level.
Yep.
It's going to be the hitting.
Yeah, it's the hitting. It's really, guys like Jazz. I mean, he's gotten off to a very slow start. Obviously, we talked about McMahon. I think you're going to see some guys start to come up from the farm sooner than later. I don't know. Well, my guess is going to be George Lombard. Actually, I wouldn't say that, because obviously, the front office has this really great relationship with Volpe. They want to give him a shot when he comes back. I think he's down in Tampa right now. Or no, he came up to New York. I don't know what they're doing with him, but he's obviously getting some run in. He should be back in the next couple weeks from what I read. So,
well, this has been my criticism of the Yankees and how they've handled the lineup, right? So, and some of the young guys. So you have a guy, once again, I mean, I'm not saying I told you so, but I told you so. Jason Dominguez is tearing it up in the minors, and our buddy Trent Grisham's hitting 145. So
that's a tough look.
Way to go. That was a really, really great decision you made to give him that qualifying offer, because you mean to tell me that you wouldn't get more production out of Jason Dominguez? Maybe not defensively. I understand Grisham still plays a good outfield, plays a good center field, but I wouldn't mind you. Do you think Bellinger would really mind playing center field so that Dominguez could play left?
I don't think he would care.
And not only that, the other thing that's ticking me off is, why is Ben Rice not playing every single day?
Yeah, he's our best hitter right now. For him to have 2 games off in a row, it's just negligence.
He's hitting 339.
Mm-hmm.
He's got 1 less home run than Judge. He's got 3 more RBIs.
Yep.
Why isn't this man? He's slugging. He's out slugging Judge by almost 200 points.
It's crazy.
He's seeing the ball extremely well. Why would you ever take this guy out of the lineup? And even if you did, 2 days in a row.
Yep.
I don't get it. I really don't get the construction of the lineup sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to know what? If Paul Goldschmidt was actually hitting 200, which he's not, and I understand it's early in the season, then I'd almost understand. All right, well, you're going to platoon him with a guy that's hitting 275 and has 5 home runs. Then I really would. I wouldn't be complaining the way that I am. Right. But you're bringing a guy in that's getting you absolutely no production, and for what?
And then you go back to third base. You have guys like George Lombard who are just like chomping at the bit, trying to get a shot. Like, give him a shot. Like, he wants to play third. If that's his in, he's going to play third. These are baseball players, you know. They
want to be in the bigs.
Yeah.
I would bet you. What is it? That June 1st call up date? Is that the day that they get an extra year of eligibility? I would think that by that time, you're probably going to see George Lombard.
I hope so.
If things continue to go the way that they're going. I don't think you can. I mean, McMahon can't hit $140, midway into the season, and the Yankees are okay with it. You actually made a great point yesterday on the train ride in. What was it? Murakami,
yeah.
Murakami. He was sitting there. He was that big Japanese free agent. They were calling him the Japanese Babe Ruth.
Yeah.
And no one seemed to want to sign him. He ends up signing with the White Sox. And I know it's early in the season, but the guy's leading the AL in home runs, or damn close to it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Like, he has at least 7 home runs, I think. Yeah,
and
you're paying
Ryan McMahon $8 million a year. I don't know what what Murakami's making, but I can't see it being that much more than what you're paying freaking McMahon.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why you didn't at least kick the tires on that one. But this is what we got right now.
Yep.
And it's not bad. Listen, I still think this team is going to make the playoffs. They're going to win over 90 games. I think the pitching's good enough to get them even further than that. And that's why it'll help them out a lot in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
But it's, once again, we're back to where we started last year at the end of the playoffs. Are these guys going to hit in the clutch?
Mm-hmm.
They're going to get on base when the pitching's at its best. Are they going to put pitchers under duress? Are they going to come through? Are they going to put runs on the board?
Yep. Big question mark.
Mm-hmm. But at least, and I'm not doing this to let a dig in, but at least we're not the Mets. and listen, my heart goes out to Met fans. It was a very rough week, and a bunch of the guys that you took right off of the Yankees' hands, not really paying you immediate dividends right now.
Yeah, it's just so funny, like the dynamic of that whole team. Like, Steve Cohen is not afraid to spend money. Obviously, he has one of the biggest payrolls in the entire league. He's signing these guys to short-term deals like Luis Robert Jr., Dante Bichette, or not Dante, Bo Bichette, giving them really high AAVs, almost in like a win now type of like roster construction, right? But they're nowhere near win now. The way they're playing. You got Soto out. They can't get any run support with their pitchers. And we were talking about Nolan McLean. He gets no... People on like WFAN are calling him the next Jacob deGrom, giving up no less than 1 run a game and can't get anybody to hit, or get anybody on base. You know, it's very,
Yeah,
very strange.
he'll win a Cy Young and he'll only win 11 games.
Yeah, right.
I think, I'm not saying that's actually going to happen, but you catch my drift.
Yeah.
But remember this, right? So Stevie Cohen is not the one making the personnel decisions.
No.
He's signing the checks, but they brought that guy in from Milwaukee, I think.
Stearns.
Came
Yeah.
from.
Mhm.
So Stearns came from Milwaukee, but that was like a hand-picked guy that Cohen wanted.
Mhm.
And then Stearns got a chance to pick his head coach, and it's not working. I hate to say it. They're spending a ton of money. They got just as much of a payroll, a higher payroll as anyone in the league. What are they, second most besides the Dodgers right now?
Yeah.
So you need to see better results than that.
I could
If you're trying to go toe to toe with the Dodgers, this is not the roster that you want to do it.
You know what that team lacks, bro? It's leadership. At least with the Yankees, you have guys like Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton that will command the locker room. Like if they're playing bad, they have no problem just stepping up and be like, "Hey guys, let's take our head out of our ass and do what we need to do." I don't think you have a defined leader on that team. I don't think it's Soto. I don't think it's Lindor. If it's Mendes,
Lindor's the one that wears the pants in that locker room. I mean, they made it very clear about that when in the last several years they let Alonso walk out, they traded McNeil, they traded Nimmo. Like those three
Nimmo
guys
lighting up the league too.
But those three guys were the guys that it seemed like there was a little bit of a rift in the locker room that no one really said anything about. But look who's staying here and look who's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what it was. They never really, you never heard too many chirpings while they were all together. But there was maybe a little smoke.
Mm-hmm.
They kept it under wraps for the most part. But look, like, you're right. I don't think they do have like a true leader in that clubhouse. I feel like Alonso would have been that guy if he was still there a little bit. But
and if it's Mendy, if it's Mendoza, then like
he should be your guy. He's your manager.
Yeah. And he needs
if
to
Buck
do something
Showalter
fast.
Were here, who do you think would? If Buck Showalter were still here, who would you say is the voice in the locker room? You'd say it was Buck.
Yeah. Man.
But yes, I agree with you. I think Mendoza needs to step it up.
I could see him I could see him being the scapegoat and getting fired if he doesn't turn this around like very quickly. So
I think it'll take a little longer. I think if they're starting to be out of it, maybe by the end of June, then I think you could see a change. I don't think you'll see anything before then. I think he'll have a chance to right the ship for a little longer. And because I think that also because he was Stearns' guy.
Yeah.
Stearns hired him. So now it would, I think they're going to try and the same way other teams like bring a player in that's their guy. I think he'll have a little bit more wiggle room. But we'll see.
All right, so in other news, and we were talking about it at the game as it was breaking, but Dexter Lawrence was traded from the Giants to the Bengals for the 10th overall pick in this year's draft. Giants absolute fleeced the Bengals. I can't believe they got more than a second, third round pick for him after coming off a down year.
This was the first trade since Randy Moss. So think about that. A Hall of Fame wide receiver still in the prime of his career. This is the first time a first-round pick was exchanged for a non-quarterback player since Randy Moss.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Fun little fact there that I saw. And listen, they got a hell of a player.
Oh,
that line now with Cincinnati is going to be really, really good defensively. And I think they needed to do something after Hendrickson left.
Yeah.
So I think they needed to bulk up that line a little bit. So they did something there. But
I think that was a win now move for the Bengals,
Oh yeah, 100%. Yes. But the other piece to this is I think you're right. The Giants executed this brilliantly.
I mean,
You know what else this might say also? And listen, I'm not trying to read too much into the tea leaves at all, but you hear the rumblings about a lot of these talking heads and what they think this draft is in terms of the caliber of players. And if Cincinnati's saying to itself, we don't think there's a player that we could draft that would be more beneficial to our team than Dexter Lawrence would be by adding him, that's the reason you make that trade. So if there
the
are
one
other
thing,
GMs out there that have that same train of thought, they think 27 is a great loaded class, but 26 isn't quite as good.
I just think there's just an overabundance of good defensive tackles in every draft. So maybe they just felt like maybe the Giants felt like, yeah, we can just part ways with him. It sucks to lose him, but we could easily get another DT. You know, they're not like it's one of those positions that's easy to fill. I feel like
depending on what you're looking for, and the difference between a 3-4 and a 4-3. A 4-3, you're not looking for as bulky of a guy. You're looking for a guy that, because there's going to be two of them.
Yeah.
You're looking for a guy that could penetrate and wreck. Whereas like a 3-4, you're just looking for a mountain. When it comes to DTs, like I said, you have the 4-3 guys that are, more kind of a dual role. You want them to be able to get after the quarterback a little bit and create interior pressure. But a 3-4 guy, I think you're right. You just need a really big dude that could take up two blockers.
Mm-hmm.
You don't necessarily need, and now listen, the really good ones, I'll give credit to a guy like Quinnen Williams that we had for a little while. They played him in 3-4. They played him in 4-3. He was definitely more effective in 4-3 because you couldn't double team him. But he did his role very well as a 3-4 interior lineman too.
Yes.
Didn't have as many stats to kind of show that. So look, we have an NFL draft coming up finally.
Yes.
This Thursday. So now that the Giants and the Jets own 25% of the the top 16 picks in the draft, something like that. It'll be an interesting Thursday night.
Yes, I can't wait. Yeah, big week of sports. A couple of Knicks games, draft, baseball in between. So lock in New York.
Hockey, if you're into that sort of thing, but no New York Metro teams in.
Shoot, I've fallen off hockey so hard, especially this year. I don't know. With the Rangers not being good, it's just like when they're not good, I don't pay attention at all. So
no, it's true. It's
just the way it is.
It's one of those sports that listen, I like watching a hockey game, but like I definitely am a more casual than I am with all of these.
You know what it is with hockey? Like back in the day, like in the mid 2000s, I would go like halves on a season, like partial season ticket plan with my pops, and for some reason, for me anyway, it was just so much more entertaining to go to a game rather than watch hockey on TV. I don't know. Unless it's playoffs. Like, if it's playoffs, I'm locked in, regardless. But it's just so much more fun to go to an actual game.
Oh, I agree. That's one of the best. That's one of the best sports to watch live. I think.
Yeah,
it's right up there with almost anything. Don't get me. I loved the basketball game last night. I think that was entertaining. Honestly, out of all the sports to watch live, and this might be blasphemous, football is one of the biggest hassles, I feel like, just because of where the stadium is for us. And it's such a production to go, and we were going over this parking. Like, Woody, come on, man, $100 for a parking spot. And
yep. Oh my God, I lost you again. Come on, man. All right, guys. So Justin's having some technical difficulties on his end. We're gonna cut the pod short. Make sure you guys follow our socials or TikToks. We posted a couple of mixtapes from the game last night, so make sure you check that out. It was fun editing that. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Really helps the algorithm. We are probably going to do another pod shortly after the draft, so make sure you guys stay tuned in for that. And yeah, catch you guys in the next one. Peace.